Welcome back to the show. Today we're going to talk about time, money, and freedom. We have with us Mr. Ray. He helps small business owners generate more leads and sales through social media. In the last 3 years, him and his wife has helped business generate over 300,000 new customers. They also have a best-selling book entitled Time, Money, Freedom, which is an international bestseller. Mr. Ray, welcome to the show today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us. So international best time seller. That's an amazing achievement, my friend.
Blessed and honored for sure. I remember a time when I would not be a bestseller of anything because I wasn't always successful.
Oh, I understand that for sure. So tell us, how does time, money, and freedom, how do they relate to one another?
Yeah. So, we really see that as what a lot of people want and but there's some hangups, right? So, time, money, freedom is something where freedom being the key word, where you don't have negative emotions about time or money. For example, some moms, if the thought of hiring someone to do their kids' laundry, just like, oh, I'm not a mom if I don't do that. And, in the book, we share many examples where, your kids aren't going to remember that, but they'll remember the quality time you spend with them. Money it's very popular for the media and Hollywood and, certain politicians to bash people that have a lot of money. But the reality is, with more money, you can do more good if that's what you choose to do. And so, it's very difficult to build abuse centers or build schools or build water wells if you don't have any money. And so, plus, you can only donate so much of your time. Now, that's a very worthy donation to, go to the soup kitchen or serve at at a shelter or something like that. But you can only do so much of that because we have bills to pay. And so we're trying to encourage people to understand that you can go out there and make a lot of money by providing value to the marketplace. And with that money, you can do whatever you want with it, including impact more people.
That is so true. That is really, really true. You know, a lot of people define success so differently. How do you define success?
So for me, it's really two things. It's growth and contribution. So I need to feel like I'm growing and, I need to feel like I'm, impacting more people. I'm learning things. You know, I need to feel like I'm growing. And whether that doesn't necessarily mean in income, but it does mean that I'm becoming a better person. So whether that's by, meditation and going internal and getting rid of some resistance or blocks, or it's, learning a new skill. For example, 6 months ago, I bought dance lessons for my wife and I, and this Saturday is our first dance competition. Now, that is very much out of my comfort zone. So that means I'm growing. Contribution is I'm making a difference. I'm helping someone. I'm impacting someone. And I don't do that out of, guilt, like, oh, I better, I've done well. I better help others. No, I do it because it makes me feel good. So contribution could be teaching your kids something. I'm in the process of teaching my daughter how to ride a bike, right? She does the training wheels right now. And, contribution could be, donating to your favorite charity. It could be donating to your favorite church. It could be, going around the neighborhood. And, we've done this with our daughter, going around the neighborhood and picking up trash to, make the neighborhood look better. And so contribution is you're doing something outside of yourself to benefit others, and not out of guilt, but out of, this makes me feel good. I feel nice when I help other people. And to me, that's what success looks like. I can't imagine, getting to a certain income amount and not doing those two things. That to me would not be success.
So true, so true. And people just define success in all different types of ways. And my philosophy for success is the impact I have on others and then how they treat others moving forward. Meaning that if my impact was so great, that mean if I influence them in some type of way, the whole goal is that they'll influence somebody else that's
Yep.
almost less fortunate than them, and the pattern
Like
keeps going on and on. So that's very successful to me. That's how I define it, and we kind of share
like a
that same.
pay it forward kind of
Yeah,
model.
that pay it forward
Yeah.
situation. I love that. But there's a lot of things in that book, and one of the things I want to ask you: can money buy happiness?
Well, poverty can't either. And so, that's always when people have money hangups, they tend to wield it as a weapon of why not to attain it. So just always understand, what are you accepting by not going out and attaining it? You're accepting poverty, right? And so, my one of my early mentors who passed away a few years ago, Mark Hoverson, he said, and I mentioned him in the book a lot, but he said, your poverty is serving no one. And so money in and of itself doesn't, I don't believe has a necessarily association with money, but poverty definitely does not, I should say. And so if I know that neither grant me happiness, I'd rather have money. And with money, I can afford more experiences. I can afford to learn new things. I can afford to go to dance class where maybe I have some smiles while I'm dancing with my wife. I can afford to give to charity, which may make me feel more significant. I can do different things. I can travel, etc. So the answer is no, but also neither does poverty.
That is really so true. You can do so much good with money if you have a great heart. That is so true.
Yep.
And if you have the willpower and the zeal to want to do good for others, like you'll want to do good for yourself and your family and your friends.
Yeah.
What can one do to maximize their time to achieve like financial freedom, if you will?
So, I'm very crazy about my time. I analyze my time, very, very closely. And I specifically look at, one, am I doing a thing that someone else could be doing for a lesser hourly wage than I want to make myself? And the exception to that is, am I doing a thing that I really enjoy doing? For example, some guys like cleaning their cars, right? They like waxing it. They couldn't comprehend hiring someone to do their car. Me, I don't get benefit. I don't get value out of that. So I would much rather improve the local economy by paying someone to do my car, by paying someone to do the landscaping. I don't get joy from those things, and I can choose to do what I want during those times. Now, that doesn't mean that every hour is hardcore working. Maybe it's me spending time with my 2-year-old son. Maybe it's me spending time with my daughter, et cetera. And so just really looking at your time and asking yourself, could this be, if I don't get joy from this, could this be hired out at a lesser wage than what it is that I'm attempting to make? Because what if, like, if you have a side business or a business you're trying to grow, well, what if you were able to start putting another hour a day into marketing of that business? That might be a much more powerful return than saving 40, $50 for someone cleaning your car.
That is true. That's really true. That is so true. There's like different strategies that people use in regards to making money. What are the different strategies that you recommend for people to make more money outside of their current work?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different options out there. We talk about quite a few different options in the book. You have, affiliate marketing. If there's a product or something that you really like and they offer an affiliate program, you can, typically sign up to get your own unique link to that thing, and you can drive traffic to it. However you do that, your videos or TikTok, etc. And you could make some commissions there. There's I've heard people that will buy at yard sales or clearance racks and flip them on eBay. I was just talking to a guy. I am shocked that this was possible, but I talked to a guy the other day who, there are certain types of sports cards that you can get in Target and Walmart, and they're buying these things for like $20 and selling them for $200, which blows my mind that it's that, simple. But he was sharing with me some of those things. I know when I was younger, I used to go to yard sales and clearance things and sell stuff on eBay. I just kind of knew what would sell because of my research, and I would flip those things. Another one is network marketing, which a lot of people have hangups to, or maybe they've had bad experience with, or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's a very low risk, low overhead way for the average ordinary person to, without having to invent anything, or without having to put a huge amount of money into, they can be snapped into a system with full customer support and shipping and logistics and all of that stuff, and make money. That's where I bounced back after losing it all in real estate. When I lost it all in real estate, I actually went into a network marketing company, went on to become the number one incomer of that company, made millions of dollars. And that's what kind of saved me. No one was hiring, my credit was shot, but I could join that company. And so that's what I did. And so those are some options. There are always other things too. People making unique things on Etsy. I've seen people make money with that, and drop shipping. I've heard all kinds of different ways.
There's so many great side hustles out there that one can do, especially these days of time with the massive wealth of internet and social
For
media.
sure.
Absolutely. What are the secrets that people can have for gaining personal and financial freedom?
The secrets of gaining personal financial freedom. I think a big one is understanding that you have at least two businesses. Okay, you have the way that you make money, right? And maybe that's a job, maybe it is your business, right? Maybe it's a part-time thing, or whatever. You have that thing, but you also have money. And maybe when you start, it's not a huge amount, but that money should be treated like a business, not a piggy bank, right? A lot of people, they take their money and they just save it. When, we have, as we bring money in, we have, it goes into different investments, it goes into different, things that will return us more money. And so a lot of people they don't understand that. They don't understand that, the best thing you can do with a dollar is multiply it, not just hold it, right? But actually multiply it. And so looking at, what are the, different things out there. And I'm not an investment advisor, but, we have stocks that pay dividends. We have life insurance. We have some crypto, which, we always buy on dips. So I'm never worried about dips. But, there's different things. How can you multiply that money? And there's a guy that I learned from named Dan Kennedy, who's just an amazing marketer. But Dan Kennedy, he gave me the idea of having, two special accounts, a wealth account and a giving account. So as we're an internet business, we get paid daily, right? And so a percentage of every single day's earnings goes into a giving account where we look for charities to sponsor, or charities to help, or individuals. If we run across the right individual and it makes sense, we'll pull it from the giving account. And a percentage goes into investments. This is not something I have to remind myself of. This is something that happens. And so you want to be able to build up investments in a way that, God forbid, something happens and you're not able to do that primary business. You have some options over here. You have some money coming in, whether it's dividends, or cash flow, or something like that. We've done that with real estate properties. With the market so hot, we've been selling some of our real estate. But you just understand the concept of having two businesses.
You make a good point about an account that you have, and you call it the giving account. I think that's very unique because that's actually one of the first times I've heard kind of like a giving account. What made you and your wife come up with an account that will be able to like give back to other individuals that was less fortunate than you guys selves?
I'll be honest. It's twofold. One, because it makes me feel good. That's number one. And two, because what I've noticed over the years is, uh, and I really believe that this is an energetic kind of thing. The more that I give, the more I seem to receive. And so I think, and this is a concept we teach in the book and in our in our private group, but we teach something called Wealth Wednesday. And Wealth Wednesday is where you do a random act of kindness for a stranger involved in a financial exchange. And right now we actually track it, believe it or not, but we have anywhere from 600 to 1,200 people a week, every week, that do one of these acts. And so the act might be paying for the person behind you in the drive-through, paying for the person behind you in the toll booth. Could be a reverse shoplifting thing where you put $5 in the diaper box or the baby formula or the dog food or whatever, whatever floats your boat. And what's cool is we've had so many different instances. We've had some of our members go and someone Wealth Wednesdayed them in front of them in the drive-through, which was cool. I remember the first one was in Australia a couple years ago, where someone put a $5, whatever they call them over there, $5 bill in a diaper box, and someone wrote an article about it, and it went international news, right? And so the concept is to chip away at your money mindset of, instead of thinking like, mainstream media and politicians and even Hollywood, right? If one of the most watched movies of all time is Titanic. How do they portray the rich, right? Will we be seated according to class, right? They made them out to be real, jerks. And so what are they trying to tell, the masses is that having lots of money is a bad or evil thing, and it's not. It allows you to do more good. So by doing things like this, you're chipping away at that money mindset that's been hammered into you your entire life through Hollywood and cartoons and media, to say that, wait a minute, man, if I only had a few more million of these things, I could do some really cool stuff. And so that's what we're hoping people, get out when we teach that.
That is really so true. Oh my God, that makes a lot of sense. So and also there's something I want to ask you. That's one of my last questions in titles in the book. It says, "Why do we waive?" Well, put it like this: How can we, or why do we need to wave goodbye to our inner perfections?
To being a perfectionist, you mean?
So how do we wave goodbye to our inner perfections? How do we say goodbye to our inner perfections?
Your
Inner self,
imperfections.
your inner perfections.
So can you ask that a different way? I'm not sure.
Why do we
I'm sorry.
need to wave goodbye to your or our, meaning us, the people that have these perfections about ourselves, right? So we think, oh, we're perfectionists in some kind of way or form. So what do we need to do to kind of like wave goodbye to that in order to bring in some newness in our lives?
Yeah. So if you're a perfectionist, then that's really a fancy term for a procrastinator. And people don't like to hear that, but we can, we can grip onto the I've got to get it perfect. And what happens while we're getting something perfect is nothing happens. No one's impacted, no one's helped, you're not helped, your family isn't helped, no one's struggling's helped. And so it's one of those things that you do the best that you can, but understand that successful people, they collapse time. Non-successful elapse time. So non-successful people think they have all the time in the world. That's why they'll Netflix, all day long, right? I'll get to it tomorrow. Successful people, they collapse time. How can I more quickly get to where I want to go? How can I more quickly achieve that thing that I want, or build that thing that's going to help people, or fill in the blank? And so being a perfectionist is it's just a fancy way of saying you're procrastinating and you're nervous. Sometimes you're nervous on looking stupid because earlier in life you did something that made you embarrassed and you never want to have that feeling again. That's the case a lot of times, but it doesn't have to be that way. And understand that if you can't, I heard Brendan Burchard say this: version 1.0 is infinitely better than 0.0. There's a lot of people out there with version 0.0 that no one knows of, never helped anybody, right? 1.0, even if flawed, is infinitely better.
And that is really true. So, Mr. Ray, drop the bomb on us. Tell us how we can locate this book and you and your wife, and how can we learn more about you guys?
Yeah, so we have a page at tmfbook.com. It stands for, time, money, freedom book.com, tmfbook.com. And on there, I'm actually very, very blessed. There's a lot of testimonials on it, but three that stand out. Jack Canfield, author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. He sold over 100 million books. He read the book and gave us a testimonial. John Assaraf from the movie The Secret, and he's been in all kinds of other stuff. And Mark Victor Hansen, the other author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. But all three of those guys read the book, loved it, and gave us really amazing testimonials that we have on that page. On that page, it allows you to just, you can click and go to Amazon and get it on Audible, Kindle, or the regular, or you can order multiple copies if you're wanting some bonuses, like for teammates or friends or, Christmas or whatever. But tmfbook.com. As far as social media, I mean, I'm on, most of the channels. If you search Ray Higdon, you should be able to find me.
Thank you, Ray, for joining us today. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, next IBS.